One of the best aged of Hitchcock's British films, The 39 Steps is said to be a highly influential piece of escapist fiction, and given a lack of obvious cinematic precedents, it might very well be one of the most influential films of the 30s. One of the most entertaining of Hitchcock's films during this period, and potentially the best of them, The 39 Steps features a sterling screenplay, tremendous performances, visceral photography, and some of the most watchable Hitchcock exercises from any of his work. Some information from the Free Encyclopedia to illustrate the conception of his very impactful feature. The script was originally written by Charles Bennett, who prepared the initial treatment in close collaboration with Hitchcock. Ian Haven wrote some dialogue. The film's plot departs significantly from John Buchan's novel. Scenes such as those in the music hall and on the fourth bridge are absent from the book. Hitchcock also introduced the two major female characters, Annabella the spy and Pamela the reluctant companion. In this film, the 39 Steps refers to the clandestine organization, whereas in the book and the other film versions it refers to physical steps, with the German spies being called the Black Stone. By having Annabella tell Hannah she is travelling to meet a man in Scotland and produce a map with Old Nash Shellac House circled, Hitchcock avoids the coincidence in Buchan's novel where Hannah, with the whole country in which to hide, chances to walk into the one house where the spy ringleader lives. The 39 Steps was a major British film of its time. The production company, Gaumont British, was eager to establish its films in international markets and especially in the United States, and The 39 Steps was conceived as a prime vehicle towards this end. Where Hitchcock's previous film, The Man Who Knew Too Much, had costs of £40,000, The 39 Steps cost nearly £60,000. Much of the extra money went to the star salaries for leads Robert Donat and Madeline Carroll. Both had already made films in Hollywood and were therefore known to American audiences. At a time when British cinema had few international stars, this was considered vital to the film's success. Hitchcock had heard that Scottish industrialist and aircraft pioneer James Weir commuted to work daily in an autogyro and worked the aircraft into the film. The 39 Steps is one in a line of Hitchcock's films based upon an innocent man being forced to go on the run, including The Lodge in 1927, Saboteur 1942, and North by Northwest 1959. The film contains a common Hitchcockian trope of a MacGuffin, a plot device which is vital to the story, but irrelevant to the audience, in this case the designs for a secret silent aeroplane engine. This film contains an Alfred Hitchcock cameo, a signature occurrence in most of his films. At around 7 minutes into the film, both Hitchcock and the screenwriter Charles Bennett can be seen walking past a bus that Robert Donat and Lucy Mannheim board outside the music hall. The bus is on London Transport's number 25A route, which ran from Oxford Street through the East End and on to Ilford. As author Mark Lancy points out in his 2003 study of the film, this was familiar ground to Hitchcock, who lived in Leytonstone and then in Stepney in the East End as a youth. The director's appearance can thus be seen as an assertion of his connection with the area, but he was by no means romanticising it. As the bus pulls up, he litters by throwing a cigarette packet on the ground. Hitchcock is also seen briefly as a member of the audience scrambling to leave the music hall after the shot is fired in the opening scene. In the middle of the film, Hannah is shot in the chest with a pistol at close range, and a long fade-out suggests that he has been killed. This jarringly unusual development, the main character is apparently killed while the story is still unfolding, anticipates Hitchcock's Psycho 1960 and the murder of Marion Crane in the Bates Motel. Hannah was not dead. In the next scene, it is revealed that a hymn book in the pocket of his borrowed coat prevented the bullet from killing him. The film established Madeline Carroll as the template for Hitchcock's succession of ice-cold and elegant leading ladies, Hitchcock blondes. Of Hitchcock's heroines is exemplified by Carroll. Film critic Roger Ebert wrote, "The female characters in his films reflected the same qualities over and over again. They were blonde, they were icy and remote, they were imprisoned in costumes that subtly combined fashion with fetishism, they were mesmerized for men, who often had physical or psychological handicaps. Sooner or later, every Hitchcock woman was humiliated." In keeping with many of Hitchcock's films, key sequences are set in familiar locations, in this instance King's Cross Station, Piccadilly Circus Station, and a dramatic sequence on the Forth Bridge.